Inspiration, clarity, confidence, and wholehearted business strategy. Welcome to Your Next Chapter, the podcast especially for women in their 40s and beyond who know that business and personal development go hand in hand. Tune in each week for marketing, mindset, and personal growth strategies, along with inspiring stories from women around the world who are creating new businesses and lives that are personally fulfilling and financially rewarding. If you're looking to create a business and life you love, you're in great company. Let's find out what will unfold in your next chapter. I'm your host, Angela Raspass, and I'm so delighted that you're here. Well, hello and welcome back to episode 5 of Your Next Chapter podcast. This is Angela Raspass, and I'm delighted that you're investing your time here with me today. Now, this episode is all about wholehearted client alignment. I want to take you through what that actually is, why it's so important for you in your next chapter business, and the actions that you can take to actually get yourself and your clients into alignment with each other. Now, wholehearted client alignment to me is so important because I believe your business needs to serve you just as much as it serves your clients. Now, by that I mean that it needs to be fulfilling and enjoyable. Now, no matter where you're at in your business, whether you have been going for quite a while and you're looking to realign it more with your values and your perspective on the world, or if you're just starting out, it's really important for us to work out who are often referred to as our ideal clients. Who do we really know that we can help and make a difference for? When you're doing your best work, that's when it is most joyful and enjoyable. And when you're doing your best work, it's because you've connected with the clients that you can really make a difference for. That's when a next chapter business feels sensational. Now, client alignment is often also referred to as niching, that idea of finding where is your slice of the market. Now, naturally, we cannot be all things to all people. It's really important for us to recognize that there are some people out there in the world who are absolutely perfectly in need of only what you can provide. Now, if you've been listening to the Next Chapter podcast for a while, you may have heard episode 2 where Emma Gray and I were talking about the value of your story. That the things that you've gone through, the challenges you've overcome, the experiences that you've gained, these are all really, really important to share because they lead to connection. Because it's very important to know that people do not buy because they understand what it is that you are selling or offering. People invest because they feel understood. People don't want to have someone preaching from a mountaintop of perfection and I've got it all together and come up here, the view's great. They want to know that you have been down in the trenches, that you've found a better way through, an easier way through, that you have been in their shoes and you've struggled with what they're struggling with now and you've found a solution. Imagine what it would have felt like for you if when you were going through those challenges that everybody has, someone held out their hand and said, hey, I know where the answers are. I know where the door is that you can step through. Probably would have felt hugely relieved. Well, that's the power that you have today. It's really important that you can project with honesty and total authenticity, nothing about putting out there what's not true, but it's really important that you can project that air of confidence and certainty that you indeed can help your most aligned clients, because it is that certainty that is hugely client attractive. So that's really understanding and knowing your value, having that confidence that you can help. And that will happen when you narrow your focus and are really only trying to take care of the people that you are most aligned with. Now, to create that connection, we really want to position ourselves as the bridge. By that I mean the bridge between where somebody is and where they want to be. It's when people can feel that gap between where they are and where they want to be that they become motivated to actually take action. And this is really where I want to focus for a few minutes here on the concept of a buying cycle, because it'll really help you understand when and how it is best to try and connect with these most aligned clients. And you've probably had this experience yourself as well. Everybody goes through a buying cycle for every purchase that they make. Sometimes it's really quick, i.e., wow, it's a really hot day, I'm out going for a walk, I'm thirsty, there's a shop, I'm going to go grab a bottle of water. Really quick buying cycle that you've just moved through. For other purchases that take a little bit more time, money and effort, that buying cycle can be much, much longer. Really depends on the individual, but it can take up to 18 months for somebody to actually move from awareness of a desire right through into making that investment. Purchasing a car could be an example, a house, or quite often I've had people in my own community contact me and say, I've been following your work for the last 12 months and now I'm ready to work with you. That's why that sort of buying cycle happens a lot, trust me, especially in the services industry, which undoubtedly you are in if you're listening to this podcast. So with that sort of scenario, we need to make sure that we are nurturing our ideal clients. There's a really good chance that when someone first tumbles or stumbles across you or hears of you or is introduced to you, they may not be ready to make the investment. And so nurturing our audiences and our communities over time with blogging, with podcasting, with events, with content, with experiences brings them to that stage where they really feel connected with you, that they understand that you get them and have been in their shoes and that trust has been built. But all of that effort and all of that attention really is best directed to clients who are most potentially aligned with you. So to do that, we need to really get clear on your most aligned clients, what I call TOMPPA. Now, what the heck is that? Well, a TOMPPA, TOMPPA, is a top-of-mind problem, pain, or aspiration that your most aligned client is struggling with or desiring to achieve. Knowing someone's top-of-mind problem really makes it easy for you to be able to position yourself as that bridge, as being able to offer that solution because you really understand where they have been. What we're doing here is that we are joining the conversation in the head of your most aligned client. We've all got, a whole dialogue going on in there. So there's some key questions that I want you to be asking yourself to be able to identify this and begin to join that conversation. Now, as with most of the episodes in the Your Next Chapter podcast, there is a download associated with this exercise. And you don't have to go and grab it right now if you happen to be listening to me when you're on the road or at the beach or something like that. But when you have the time, you can go to AngelaRaspass.com/5 That's AngelaRaspass.com 5 download. And there you'll find a client snapshot exercise, which helps you to actually summarize your understanding of your most aligned clients so that you can begin to communicate with them clearly with your marketing messages, but also to consider the watering holes. That's places where you're most likely to find your most aligned clients. The deeper your understanding of who they are and what's going on inside, the easier it is for you to create that connection so that you can be that bridge to take people from where they are to where they want to be. So the type of questions that you'll be asking yourself is, first and foremost, who are those most aligned clients? There's lots of different possibilities. Just thinking from an egoic label perspective, how they view themselves. They could be coaches, mothers, athletes, authors, speakers, small business owners, empty nesters, students, pet owners, homeowners, etc., etc. It could be a lot of different labels there. We also want to understand, what are they struggling with externally? What are their top-of-mind problems, pain, or aspirations? Now, it could be a lack of clients, a baby who won't sleep, a book that's locked inside of them. It could be stage fright. It could be not understanding how to utilize social media. Or it might be that people want to discover their purpose, or they're feeling dreadfully disorganized and need some help. There's lots of different struggles that they may be having externally. You need to get clear on which are the ones that you are here to solve. The next important question to consider is, what are they saying to themselves and how are they feeling internally? Are they afraid or exhausted or frustrated or embarrassed, confused, lost, overwhelmed? The type of language that they are using to talk to themselves is absolutely the type of language that you're wanting to identify and utilize in your marketing. A great example that I've come across several times is wellness and health practitioners, for example. They may have a client speaking to them saying, look, I'm just so sick of being tired all the time. That's golden to know that type of languaging. It could be used very powerfully in a simple headline on a website. But sometimes we overcomplicate things. Sometimes we try and get almost creative and clever with our copywriting. And I'm tired of being tired all the time becomes, is lethargy holding you back from your true potential? And your most aligned clients will not respond to that message because it's not the type of thing that they are commonly saying. So I encourage you to really be an active listener and listen to what are the words that your clients or the most aligned clients that you desire to have are actually using. They come through conversations, but you can also find those sort of conversations happening on social media, at events, all different types of places. So make sure active listening is a big part of your next chapter journey. Then it's interesting to think, what is the trigger that is motivating them to step up and solve their problem now? Is it because they're going through a divorce? Are they moving house? Have they had a baby? Are they reaching midlife? Are they starting a business? Or are they trying on clothes and finding that nothing fits? Is it a diagnosis or a doctor's recommendation that has encouraged them to take action? Perhaps it's losing or finding a new job. Really understanding what it is that is going on with your most aligned clients will make it so much easier for you to connect with them. Now, I mentioned earlier that there's that buying cycle that your aligned clients will be going through, and that's why the nurturing is so important. Well, that whole cycle starts, first of all, with being, believe it or not, completely unaware that you have a challenge. The next step after that is being aware, but not yet willing to make a change. From there, you move into I'm aware, I'm willing, and I'm beginning to research. I've made the decision that I want to change and I'm going to do something about it now. I'm starting the research phase to look at what my choices are in terms of getting help to overcome this problem or to reach this aspiration. During the research phase, that's when Google really comes into it, and that's when people will find your website or they may be referred by another friend. And that is brilliant if they come along to your simple website, doesn't have to have all the bells and whistles at first, and they hear your story and they hear your message and they find and feel that real connection. Past the research stage, they then move into making the decision. Who is it that they are going to choose to work with? Or which solution are they going to select that they really feel can help them reach that aspiration or relieve or remove that pain or that problem? Excuse me. And from there, obviously, the service is provided, and then you move into the final part of the buying cycle, which is referrals. And we all love getting referrals. So your ability to help someone move through that cycle will happen when they really recognize that you are the person for them, that they really feel that connection. Because your ability to impact on someone's life is directly correlated to your own experience. And that's what we want to get across to people. Because believe me, and I'm sure you've had these experiences as well, working with a client who just fits you like a glove is a hugely enjoyable experience, both for them and for you. Because remember, this next chapter business that you've designed and are creating and expanding needs to serve you just as much as it serves your clients. And feeling good about the people you're working with will help you produce your very best work. Now, I want to give you a bit of a visualization, a bit of an idea of how narrowing your niche will actually help. I want you to imagine that you've pulled together your message that you really feel strongly about, that what you believe and what you want for your client, what you think is broken in your industry, and you're here to fix it. I want you to imagine taking that message and putting it up on a great big billboard in Times Square. Now, I want you to imagine dividing the world up into 3 great big groups of people. Now, the first group comes along and they look at your message and they read it and they go, "Ha, what a load of rubbish. I've never heard anything more stupid in my life. I completely disagree." That's fine. Release them with love. There's another billboard for them that absolutely suits them around the corner. Now, imagine the next third of people coming along and looking at your heartfelt message and considering it and going, "Meh, whatever, everyone's entitled to their own opinion, but that one doesn't ring true for me." That's also fine. Release them with love. There's another billboard around the corner for them. But here comes the final third. That third of people who look at your message, it resonates right down to their toes. Their perspective is, "Oh my goodness, I so agree with this. Where has this woman been all my life? This is exactly what I need." Now, obviously, those are a little bit of a dramatization, but the concept overall is absolutely true. You are not here to be all things to all people. There is plenty, abundantly plenty, of aligned clients that are out there waiting for you. But the trouble is, we often take so much time, attention and energy trying to persuade or convince the first two lots of clients that we're right for them. Or we make our message so non-offensive, so vanilla, in the hope that it will be more broadly appealing, that we miss the opportunity to really connect with and serve those people who resonate with us enormously. It's your job simply to work out your message, to put your whole heart into what you believe, what you stand for, what you want for your clients, and then to get out there and get visible with that. You'll find that the clearer you become on those aspects of your business, and the clearer you are able to communicate that out into the marketplace, the far more aligned the clients will be who are attracted to you. Now, I've absolutely experienced this firsthand. If you've been following me for a while, you're probably aware, but if you haven't, I'll give you a quick snapshot now, that I used to run a marketing agency that I started from my dining room table and grew up to having full-time staff and buying an office on the North Shore of Sydney. Now, once I realised that that very successful business had really didn't fit me any longer because of the personal challenges and changes that I'd been through, I was looking for something more, something that really had fulfillment at its core. I let go of that business at the end of 2012 and launched my personal brand. Now, at first, my message was fairly broad. It was about women, so at least I'd narrowed it to that extent, but it was about building a wholehearted business. And there's a lot of people who related to the message, and yes, I had clients and things weren't too bad. But what happened is an evolution over time, and it does take time. It's not an overnight thing. Over time, I began to refine and narrow my message further as I really began to understand what it is that I provide. What is that bridge from where people are to where they want to be? And who are my people? Now, the reassurance here is that this is not a case of getting it perfect, that right out of the blocks you've got to be absolutely spot on with that message and those people. It does take time. If you wait until you've got it perfect, then you'll be waiting a long time. You can't steer a parked car. You have to move. You have to put your message out there, put your programs, put your services out there at the very best you can at the beginning, and then you'll get feedback and begin to refine as you move forward. Give yourself permission to get it wrong. That's the only way you can get it right. Well, what I discovered on this journey myself was that as my niche became clearer, the clients who turned up and connected with me were so much more aligned. Now, these days, I'm at that stage where I am very clear that I am here to help women in their 40s and beyond create a next chapter service-based business. Okay, there's more detail to it than that, but in a snapshot, that is the overall. I am not for the girls in their 20s, the women in their 30s, although I could help them. My expertise and my absolute zone of genius is with women of my sort of vintage, shall we say, who have come through life and are now looking at creating this new type of business. And the clearer I got with that and letting people know that what I provide is clarity, confidence, and wholehearted marketing, all absolutely pinned down with the foundation of creating your self-worth. When I got that message very clear, then I started to have even more gorgeous clients to work with because they could identify themselves in my message. They could understand that I knew where they had been. Now that, as I said, did not happen overnight, but the methodology of getting to there is very much who do you want to work with? What are the changes that you can help make? What are the challenges that you have been through? As you start to pull these together into your client snapshot, which is a part of the download from this particular episode, it will become so much clearer for you who those most aligned clients are. And that allows you then to start getting quite proactive with your wholehearted marketing to actually be able to work out the watering holes where you will find those clients. A watering hole is, as the name suggests, it's a place where people gather, and you will get clearer on what those watering holes are for your most aligned clients when you know who those most aligned clients are, what their TOMPPA is, What is it that is motivating them, the trigger to actually move and solve their problems at this time? So that in essence is the concept of wholehearted client alignment. And you can get started right now by downloading the exercise associated with this episode. Again, that's angelaraspass.com/5 and the word download. And start taking yourself through those questions and summarizing what you understand about your most aligned clients right now. Most important thing is for you to have that real heart connection, because as I mentioned before, when you feel really, really well positioned to take care of your clients, when you've got clear on who it is and how you can help, then the work that you're doing in the world is so much more enjoyable, and the impact that you will have will be far, far deeper and much more fulfilling, both for yourself and for those clients that you're taking care of. So I hope you've enjoyed the insights in this week's episode, and I really appreciate the time that you've taken to connect with me here. I'd love it if you can spend some time by popping across to my website when you're doing that download and leaving a review in iTunes for this podcast. That would be hugely appreciated. There is simple instructions on the podcast page to tell you how to do that. That's on angelaraspass.com/podcast, and you'll find all the instructions there. The last suggestion I'd like to make is that as I am putting together the menu of topics that we'll be covering in your Next Chapter podcast, I'd love to hear if there is something that you would really like me to address, whether it be a certain guest or a certain challenge that you're having in your business or your Next Chapter life in general. Then I'd love to hear from you so that I can go out there and find the solutions that are most valuable to you, because that's what this podcast is all about. It's all about you guys, not just me, that's for sure. So thank you again for taking the time to tune in today. Have a wonderful day, and I look forward to reconnecting with you really soon. This is Angela Raspass. Take care. Thanks for listening to the Your Next Chapter podcast. If you've enjoyed this episode, please let me know. Pop over to angelaraspass.com to subscribe to the show and leave a review. And whilst you're there, you can also enjoy valuable free resources, including show notes and downloads, along with the Next Chapter community, where you can connect with other wholehearted women on the same journey as you. We'd love to welcome and support you as your next chapter unfolds. See you next time.